Good evening and welcome to the Poliscope on Dominion Television, the program that breaks down Nigeria's power moves, political strategies, and the forces shaping our democracy. Tonight we turn the spotlight on a growing phenomenon, the widening reach of the All Progressives Congress. One by one, governors, lawmakers, and political heavyweights are crossing over to the ruling party. Some see it as a mark of strength and political brilliance by the APC under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Others worry it's becoming a case of political cannibalism, where opposition parties are being slowly devoured, leaving our democracy weaker and less competitive. To help us make sense of it, I'm joined by Honorable Isaka Babatunde Gbadamosi, a two-time aspirant, one as Federal House of Assembly Representatives and the other as Oyo State House of Assembly, and a keen observer of Nigeria's political landscape. Together, we'll be examining whether this growing empire is a product of strategic consolidation or a threat to multi-party democracy. Samson Balogun is my name, and thank you for joining us this evening. Now, since President Bola Ahmed Tinubu assumed office in 2023, Nigeria's political landscape has witnessed a remarkable shift. A steady stream of defections flowing in the direction of the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC. The APC's influence has grown not just through electoral victories, but through the absorption of sitting governors and influential figures who once stood on the other side of the divide. Among them, Sheriff.
Whatever reconciliation the PDP is doing is not making any impact at all, because most of the stalwarts in the party are looking at the APC itself. What are they doing? The APC in the last 2 years, and let me say maybe in the last 10 years, has shown some good level of stability. Good level of stability, and the leadership of the SPC have shown control of the party. That is not what we see in the PDP. That is not what we see in the NNPP. All of these other parties, and even the Labour Party, all of these other parties are not able to manage their internal dynamics. Unlike the APC, that has been able to a great extent manage its members and their expectation and the internal wranglings and all of that. So you don't see that snowballing into the kind of issues you see in the PDP, the Labour Party, or the NNPP. So that explains it. Coupled with the fact that if you look at 2003 to this time, you see that when the president came in and the issue of fuel subsidy gone, foreign exchange and the inflation, look at that 2023 to 2024. We virtually reached a peak in 2024 where things were really, really difficult. But somehow, the president seems to have a handle on things as they go. Inflation seems to be dropping. All the economic indices are looking good. And you had commentators like the Emir of Kano, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, like the DG of the World Bank, World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, making positive comments about the economy. All of these are pointers to the fact that the party is stable, the government is getting its acts right, and things are going in the right direction. Everything points to a plus for the party, APC.
Now, if you look at the current system, how do you interpret the cross-carpeting we are seeing from the PDP to the APC and that of other parties like the NNPP and the Labour Party who are moving en masse to the APC? Now, what I want to ask you now is that these defections, you mentioned how the government is doing so much to make sure the economy is stabilized, the party is being stabilized by the president, and then, is this defection related to governance or the APC's ability to be able to draw other people from other political parties to join them?
I think it's both. A governance in the sense that you have a situation where the APC, if maybe the trend that we had in 2024 had continued up till this time. When I say the trend, I'm talking about the economy. Things continue to get worse. the indices are not looking good. All of these players who are coming to the party will not come, because for them, they will see it as a big negative on their part. So that is one of the additions for the APC, as it were. Now, you might say the other parties are not at the presidency, but they have governors at the state level. To what extent have they been able to really put their house in order, even in those states? And I'll cite a very interesting example, Oyo State, for instance. It was recently we heard of the resignation of former Senator Hallelujah, Hallelujah. And he has left the party. Now, this used to be one of the very close allies of the governor. It tells you that there are a lot of friction and rancor within the PDP, and so it is in all the other opposition parties.
Let me quickly ask you a question about this. The PDP had a congress recently, statewide congress,
yes,
in your state, and it seemed like everything was okay.
Yeah.
Nobody said anything, except for in few places where normally there will be skirmishes there and there, but then nobody made noise about it. Now, big wigs in the political party, the PDP, like Senator Osia Agbola, Hallelujah,
yes,
just left the party. And as at the time they had the Congress, he said nothing. Does it mean that there are still people within the PDP, the fold of the PDP, who might still jump the ship even before the election?
Of course, yes. You see, Osia Agbola did not even participate in the state's Congress.
Are the political bigwigs in the PDP, are they being sidelined?
Well, I think that's exactly my point. A number of them feel sidelined. A number of them feel that there are people who have a handle on the party and they are doing things in the direction they want. I mean, explain it to me. How would a governor of a state, Enugu State, Delta State, Akwa Ibom State,
sitting
governors who have all the paraphernalia of office and the power and the resources, decide to dump the party and move to another party? I mean, it tells you that people are not being carried along, or they don't feel a sense of belonging in the party. Also, I must tell you this, that you have a situation in the PDP that it's looking scary to the political actors. Because if you have maybe litigation after the election, could there be a likelihood that they could lose their seat as a result of the internal wrangling of the PDP? That is a fact that is likely. So for them, they're looking for stability. They're looking for an environment where they are sure that if, and come to think of it, all of those governors that are moving to APC are given automatic tickets. So for them, they'll be given the first right of refusal. So for them, it's a win-win. The party is stable, and they will have their ticket for second term. So that is it. And I think the opposition party needs to do much more in terms of winning the confidence of Nigeria. I do not believe that the APC is doing this. Like some people will pedal, and I listened to former Senate President Adafosu Wabara, a comment he mentioned, I think yesterday or sometimes earlier, that the APC is turning Nigeria into a one-party state. That is not correct. That is not correct because as far as our constitution is concerned, Nigeria is a multi-party state. As far as the laws that stipulate party politicking. Then if people decide to jump ship and move to the ruling political party, that is not anything about one-party state. You cannot expect a party in power to encourage its opposition to say, look, I want you to be doing well. No party in power does that.
The president mentioned something recently. I said, he's glad that the PDP is having a problem, having crisis.
Yes.
Now, he enjoys watching them in this array.
Yes. Yes, he did say that. And I mean, that's a way of rubbing salt into the injury of the opposition party. And I think it has to do with the opposition party going back to the drawing table and looking at what they can do. For me, I think I am not encouraging the aspect of a politician jumping ship. If I have my way, I think we should have a law
that says you cannot move.
Yes, that says if you have to move, then you have to resign your appointment, and then there will be a by-election into that position. Because for me, I think it is first, it is moral. It is immoral. Two, I mean, what example are we laying for coming generation that you A party will bring you to power, support you, and give you all that you need to get to power, and then you dump the party at the end of the day.
Now, let's talk about ideology.
Yes.
Most people are moving from the conservative party to the progressives. Now, the question now keeps coming. Is there anything about ideology in what they do in terms of cross-carpeting from one political party to the other? Because when you are a conservative, in the sinner climbs, as they will call it in quotes, when you belong to Labour, especially in the UK, when you belong to the Labour, you are a Labour person. If you are a conservative, you are a conservative. So they are most likely not going to move from one political party to another. They remain where they are. Even these things are being passed down to generations. Families are being known for what they are known for. Take, for example, the Bush of this world in America. They have an ideology. They have a political party they have always been a part of. The Clintons of this world in their families, and there are some other people, they know that, oh, these people are known for this particular thing. But in Nigeria, one person must have thought about 3, 4, 5 political parties, different ideologies, and they still say, oh, it is for the sake of Nigerians. Is that really true?
Nigerian politics is not about ideology.
Okay.
The political parties are not based on ideology.
Why so?
In black and white, in the manifesto, you might see some semblance of leaning towards the left or the right. Yes. But Nigerian politics today has not matured to the extent that you could say they are based on any form of ideology. Politicians move based on
interest,
where they feel their interest could be served. So it doesn't matter. You might see somebody who was in the APC yesterday, back in the PDP, and vice versa. You know, so
and then
you cannot predict how the Nigerian politician move, because all that matters to them is not about ideology. It's about where can I get elected, and that's exactly what you are saying with the movement of these governors, and they moving en masse with all their commissioners and the entire gamut of government. So I think it will take us some time to build ideology into Nigerian politics. Okay. Where you talk about, I don't want to use the word you use, the Senate climb, as you mentioned. They are a democracy that has spanned quite some time, and some of these things are entrenched. Even amongst them, you might see some of them going across party line to support the opposition party at one time or the other. But they don't leave their parties.
Primary political
yes,
parties.
They might have their own personal reason for supporting maybe a bill or something. But they stick with their party. And I think that is where we should be aspiring to be in our politics. Because if there isn't a kind of a stick and carrot approach that will make moving around not attractive to politicians. We'll continue to see this in our political space.
Now, let's go back a little bit. I asked you a question earlier about why some political bigwigs in the PDP are leaving the political party. There's a woman once known as an ally of the governor, Mulika Takonde, who was a close ally of the governor. And after the election, what happened? She's no longer there on the public scene of not being with the governor. Now you have Alaja Monsura Sunono, Honorable Monsura Sunono, Senator, let me put it that way, Senator Monsura Sunono, and they are now close. Now, for someone like Mulika Takonde Adiola, is there a likelihood that eventually she will dump the PDP and move to another political party, or maybe stay silent in the party and work against the party, just like some people do?
Well, you see, talking about Oyo State, and it's not just about your state, all the other states. You have people who are disgruntled in those political parties, who don't feel satisfied by maybe decisions that are made by the governors and the rest. And all of them are waiting for the appropriate time. Appropriate time, you might be seeing it now in some of these governors moving. But you might also see it as the election comes closer. You see, in the game of politics, people wait for the best time to make their move. And I think this is what we are going to be seeing sometime soon. Some people, political gladiators, especially those that are elected into position, they tend to lose track of the fact that all of those people that we are talking about have a whole number of people who are following them, and who, if they snap their finger, will follow in that direction. So I expect that genuine reconciliation should be embarked on, especially by the PDP, because the PDPs today, even at what is happening today, is still the most formidable opposition to the APC. And if you are not, if you are getting what we are getting now, it means that whatever reconciliatory moves that were being made is not genuine. It means some people do not see those reconciliation moves as good enough. It means that the PDP is not really addressing the root cause of its problem.
Now, there are 4 or 5 things that might likely cause a political party to end up in disarray, and then, just like the president said, he's always happy when his oppositions are in crisis. Now, I highlighted some things. This issue, is it based on ideological alignment, political survival, access to power, or resources? What else do the governors need that they cannot have in the PDP that made them jump ship and then join the APC?
Ideological alignment, no.
Okay.
You talk about resources. Those state governors have resources. The resources has increased exponentially over the past 2 years. You know, the FARC as at of last month I think disbursed over 2 trillion. So there has been an exponential increment. Before, I mean, during the days of General Muhammadu Buhari, I think the best FARC had was about 700 or 700 billion or thereabout. I'm not very sure of the figure. So it's not, for me, it's not resources. It's not ideological alignment. But the interest they have, also, they are also looking at where can they really get. Let me give you a very interesting example. Take a look at what the present government is doing about the what do you call it now, the coastal highway.
Okay.
Now, the coastal highway traverses about 7 or 8 states in the South region. All of these governors are interested, and they've seen something in the semblance of what it's going to look like in their state, in Lagos State. Because in Lagos State, we have a stretch of about 30 kilometers that has been completed. And people are going there and having videos and shots and all of that. And some of these governors are interested in such infrastructural development, some good presence in their state. Now, if that could come to their state, if they are part of the government, it makes the alignment and the bond stronger. So, when you now look at the political interest in the, you look at, they as governor has a right of first refusal. They don't have to go into any kind of contention with anybody for the ticket. And look at all of these governors, most of them now, they are first-timers.
First-timers.
Enugu State, Akwa Ibom State, Delta State, which other state now? Taraba is warming up to come in. Bayelsa has resigned from the PDP. Okay, so, and all of them, they are looking at, yes, we want another term. Most likely after the election, some of them might trace their roots back. But as at this time,
they need a structure that will take them back to office.
The interest is what is most important, yes.
All right, recently, I was about to ask you a question about if some of these governors are being coerced to join the APC. But then let's watch a video. There's a material I would want you to see and see exactly how deeply rooted some of these governors are in the APC as we speak. Let's listen to the governor of I think that's currently in Edo State. That's Monday Okpebolo, right there. There's a video of Monday Okpebolo. Let's see.
No entry. Let me recognize the press. Let me welcome you to the ceremony of the Thomas as you come. You are going back. power.
All right, welcome back. That was Monday Okwebolo there, saying to his cabinet members, each time you are coming to this meeting, no Ashwaju cap, don't come to this meeting.
No
You can
entry.
go back. You can go back. Are they being pressurized?
Well, I think this pressure is self-made. Besides that, Monday Okpebolo has been in the APC. He never defected.
Right.
So maybe he just want to enforce loyalty.
Are they identifying with the party?
But the truth about it is that
Ashwaju Bola Ahmed
the
Tinubu?
truth about it is you cannot enforce loyalty. Loyalty is something that you get as a result of people coming to appreciate what you do and people also believing in the cause you are pursuing. So, for me, I think that's more of a bit of an overreach, you know, because it will force those commissioners to be more of what you might call in the government palace to do what you call eye service. And unfortunately, that's not what you want to have. I think we should leave everybody to their own and let them feel free to be what they want to be. But being that as it may, Edo State is an APC state. If that's what the governor wants, I think he should have it.
So, how can a party like the PDP rebuild internal democracy, rebuild trust with the people, and then become a powerhouse again in Nigeria?
I will suggest 2 or 3 solutions here. First, you must have genuine reconciliation. When I say genuine reconciliation, what that means is this. You must bring everybody to the table. Nobody should be sidelined. And in politics, the more the merrier. You cannot afford to say we are not working with these people in politics. The more, the merrier. APC will continue to have each and everybody that wants to join its fold. Even if all the members of political party in Nigeria today wants to join APC, it will open its doors. So this practice where you have people being sidelined within the opposition party must stop. You must do everything humanly possible to bring everybody to the table. Politics is about negotiation. It's about us trading. It's about understanding. So except you don't want to become a potent opposition, you can't do without some of these people you are just allowing to go freely like that. Then the second thing is that the party there must be what you call, in their congresses and convention, you must allow genuine internal democracy. Genuine internal democracy. There are people within the party today that are working to a goal, rather than allow freely for people to associate and disassociate themselves and elect those they want to be in position. But because of the goals of those that are in position, they want certain things to be done. So they want their own people they feel they trust to be in position. And that way you cannot have a well-binded together political party. So I think if you have genuine reconciliation and internal party democracy, we should be going somewhere.
Now, when you mention genuine reconciliation in the PDP, that takes us to one of the stalwart of the PDP as we speak, former governor of Rivers State, a former minister before he became minister of the FCT,
yes,
and now obnoxious with the presidency. He's a member of the PDP.
Yes.
He works with the APC, and he has remained one of the pillars of the party. They have tried so many times to uproot him from the PDP. They failed. That's in years of Wike,
yes,
former governor of Rivers State. As we speak, what role is Nyesom Wike playing in the PDP?
Well, I think, let me say this first. I think every opposition party in this country needs a Nyesom Wike.
How?
Yes, I'll tell you how. Nyesom Wike has shown himself to be a very disruptive person to the status quo. He has made himself such that if you think you can get away with everything you do when you don't comply with the procedure or when you don't comply with agreement, whether it is written or it's a gentleman agreement, it means that you are ready to continue to lose. I think Nyesom Wike has made that clear, abundantly clear over time. And I think all the political players who were in the PDP and were part of what happened during the 2023 general election must have taken lesson. I expect they would have taken lesson. Because if you don't, a yes and Wike will always spring up. And you see, when you agree on something, you can't go back on it. And if you want to go back on it, you should renegotiate, you know. But when you look at the person you had an agreement with and you say, well, I can do without him, this is the consequence of such. People have said severally that yes and Wike has become a problem for the PDP and all of that. And the question I always ask is, why is it that the PDP has not been able to expel yes and Wike from the party?
Is it too big? Is it bigger than the party?
No, it's not. Everything yes and Wike has said, he has backed them up with very solid evidence.
Empirical facts.
Facts. And they cannot be contradicted. When he joined the government of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and some people were saying, is this anti-party and all of that. And he challenged anybody who cares to listen, that when I wanted to join this government, I informed my party. My entire party structure was aware of what I was doing. And nobody contradicted him. You know, he even came out to challenge anybody within the party to even try to expel him. They can't, because you see, when you have, there's a saying that he who comes to equity must come with clean hands. I think yes and Wike has demonstrated thus far that he has the capacity as a person, as a politician, to state his position clearly. And when you are not dealing with him properly the way you should, there will be consequences for it. And I think that's what we should have in our politics. Because people have gotten away with blue murder, scot-free with blue murder over time. And that is the reason why some people feel some part of these countries are inconsequential, or they feel that some political actors are inconsequential. But when they learn the lesson in the hard way, just like yes and Wike has done to the PDP, I think other people, other politicians must take good lessons from it.
Some say yes and Wike is a tool being used by the president to disrupt the PDP. Is that so?
No, I don't think yes and Wike is too big to be a tool. He knows what he's doing. He's acting a script he wrote himself. And if go back to...
And that script is in favor of the presidency.
Of course, yes. Go back to the time before the 2023 general election. Yes and Wike said at one of the interviews he had, he said he would never leave the PDP. He said the PDP, what the PDP had was malaria. And what the APC having is cancer. Why would he leave a malaria that can be treated and go
to the APC?
But what happened thereafter? After the convention where he felt shortchanged, after the issue of presidential candidate and the chairman of the party, and what did he do? Came up with the G5. And from there onward, he had a clear-cut direction he was pursuing.
He has been consistent.
He has been consistent. But the thing is this, those in the party, rather than taking him serious, they felt, well, we can do without him. And this is the consequence. I think they should have learned the lesson from the Rotimi Amechi group when they went to the APC, and created the kind of problem they created that led to the APC emerging as the winner of the 2015 election. But nobody is paying attention to those lessons in history. And that's why it continues to repeat itself for the PDP.
Now, let's talk about the permutation ahead of 2027 election before we talk about some other things in the APC. The current setup, most of the governors that are moving to the APC, they are coming from the South-South and Southeast.
Yes.
Omoheno from Akwa Ibom, that's South-South. From Enugu, Peter Mba has joined the APC. Now, also from Delta, we have Governor Sheriff, who also moved.
Yes.
So these are places that originally would have meant that the president would have lesser votes in those places. Now, he has captured some of those places, meaning that his stake in those parts of the country would definitely go high in the year 2027 because they are sitting governors.
Yes.
Now, let's go back to the north. He knows that there is a chance that a candidate might emerge from the north, especially within the fold of the PDP, which is arguably still the strongest opposition party in Nigeria as we speak, followed by maybe NNPP. of Rabiu Musa
Kwankwaso, yes.
who was also mooted at the point that he was going to join the APC. Most likely, there is still time. 24 hours is too long in politics to say one is going where or not. Now, as it stands, is the president already consolidating on the chances that he would get lesser votes in the north ahead of 2027?
That most likely will be the permutation. It most likely would be the permutation because there is this sentiment up north. But the truth about it also is that you have political heavyweights up north who are solidly with the president. And they are not going to let him go down. You know, as it stands today, the states in the north, I just mentioned Taraba State is warming up to join the fold. I mean, that could happen anytime from now. Plateau State has been muted over time. And you have senators and House of Rep members who moved in Kaduna State just about 2 or 3 days ago. They were welcomed by the governor, Governor Obasani. So what it tells you is that those states, those northern states, are also with the president. But the president is not taking any chances. That's what I'm saying.
He wants to be sure of his victory.
Wants to be sure of his victory. And so he's doing everything humanly possible to make sure that the South-South, at least the entire South-South comes on board. And take a look at the Southeast. As it stands today, the PDP has virtually lost out completely in the Southeast.
In the Southeast.
Completely. I mean, the other parties that are in opposition today in the Southeast, Labour, which is in Abia State, and then you have Abga in Anambra State. All the other states are APC.
Imo is APC.
Imo, Enugu recently, and Ebonyi. So the question is, you have the South, and then you have the Southeast also in the kitty. And don't forget also that Governor Soludo has pronounced clearly to everybody that he's working with the president, he's working for the president. So it tells you clearly that if the president could have the South, and then a greater chunk of the Southeast, it could be home and dry. Southwest is as good as coming on board.
Now, let me ask you this very quickly before you finish that statement. Now, recently, the governor of Abia State, Alex Otti, had an interview, and he was being asked about questions on the president's performance. And he said in that video, I'm not going to comment on Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu's performance. You can ask me other questions. On this particular one, I'm not saying, does that mean he's also in the bag? Even though he's he belongs to another political party.
Well, if you have observed and watched keenly, you know that the governor of Abia State has had a very good working relationship with the president. Very good working relationship. In fact, I think I've seen about 2 or 3 occasions where the president personally commended Alex Otti, governor of Abia State. So I think their relationship is very cordial. Whether it's going to move is another kettle of fish. I am not sure of that. And besides that, you have Labour Party. That's the only state where Labour Party holds sway. How Labour Party is really going to perform with what they are having today in terms of Nanadi Usman and what's the name of the Aburi, and even the Apapa faction.
Lamidi Apapa faction.
All of this are pointers, and Alex Otti might be weighing his options if he's not able to manage this
crisis within
the party. So all of these are things that would push a governor overboard to the other party. So, and I think Alex Otti might not shy away; he might just move, but it's to be seen as it stands today.
Now, let's go to the current situation in the APC. Do you think that the massive expansion being done by the APC will eventually be its own undoing? Will there be an implosion from within?
Interesting question. Well, I've said severally that the APC must be able to manage success. One of the things that people who come into your fold have, they all have expectations. They have expectations of maybe appointment, contract, or even very good rapprochement amongst them and those in power. But when that is not satisfied, there's always a tendency for there to be this forth and back. But you might not see any of that until after the 2027 election. You most likely will not see any of that until after the election. After the election, I think that is where the real work comes in. APC needs to, at that point, be able to manage those within its fold. Because if it's not able to, as at that time, the president would have gotten a second term election, victory in the kitty, then he would not be pursuing anything. And then the party will now need something to weld them together. And if they don't have that, whether in terms of maybe a personality or something as an objective they want to achieve, if that isn't there, then the party might just fall apart. Because as it is today, you are having a lot of people moving in, and managing humans and their expectation could be quite a challenge.
Now, ahead of 2027, with this trend of defections we are seeing, and could we see a reversal in political fortunes and change in the country?
Political fortune of who and
the
who?
APC.
Well, for me, I do not see anything changing the tide as it stands today. Maybe what could change the tide could be the economy. If the economy, rather than getting better, gets worse, if insecurity gets exacerbated, all of that could really hamper the chances of the party. And that is why, for me, the recent incident of Pengasson and Dangote wasn't a very good thing at all. And I think the APC government needs to be a bit more firmer in handling some of these issues. I mean, you can't afford to have trade union issues spill over the way it has done. You know, that is why we have what you call the industrial courts, which can do all the arbitration that needs to be done. We cannot afford to have a situation where trade unions will strangulate the economy of the country and the country to submission just because they're having an issue with a business entity. So I think the government has to pay very close attention to the economy, because the very instance Nigeria feel discomfort in terms of the economy fortunes. One of the things that is very clear today is that we've seen inflation gradually coming down. But what is the purchasing power of Nigerians? Most Nigerians don't have the money to even get these things from the market. So we must do something about
To mitigate
the purchasing power. We must do something about creating more jobs. We must do something about foreign direct investment. And if we're going to have foreign direct investment, we must also give those investors the confidence that they will not be hounded out of business like Dangote is being hounded as it stands today. Because if they are looking at the Dangote and they see what is happening to him, they will be like, wow, how would my business thrive in such an environment? And the thing is, we have the laws. All we need to do, all the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu needs to do, is to ensure that they enforce the law. Let's have what you call the rule of law, and let there be a level playing field for everybody.
Now, what role do you think political education and ideology will play in curbing future realignments in the country?
Well, I think this is where INEC might need to do a lot of work. For me, I look forward to the electoral reforms, really, because the situation we are in today is not something we should take into 2027 for me. I think we should do more in terms of the electoral reform. I want to see INEC unbundled. I want to see INEC not saddled with the responsibility of managing and monitoring political parties. Let's take this responsibility to another body so that INEC can conduct election. Let's take the responsibility of litigations and prosecutions of electoral offenders to some other body. Let INEC face squarely the issue of conducting a credible, free and fair election for us.
Do you think, lastly, do you think Nigerians sometimes feel betrayed when an elected political personnel moves from one political party to another political party? Do they sometimes feel betrayed?
Well, I do feel betrayed. Because if I vote somebody to office
Under a particular party.
under a particular
and moves
party,
to another party.
and tomorrow I see him jump ship to another party, of course I feel betrayed. So, I think it's the same thing for every Nigerian, and for most Nigerians. But for politicians, the ends justifies the means. They are not really interested in, until we have a law that criminalizes jumping ship. I mean, we might not have this abating in our system. We need to have that in our status books, so that anybody who is elected on the platform of a party, if you feel you are no longer comfortable with that party, resign your appointment and then exit the party. But you cannot take the mandate, because the Supreme Court has pronounced severally that it is not your person that was voted for.
It was the party.
It was the party. So this mandate belongs to the party. So for that reason, you cannot take what does not belong to you and take it to some other party to benefit from the sweat of another party.
Now, lastly, in 30 seconds, do you think the Nigerian democracy, as it stands, is it consolidating or cannibalizing itself?
Well, I think the Nigerian democracy is getting better by the day. We can still do far better, but what we are having today is far better than what we had in the military era. So politics, like I said earlier, is about negotiation, is about us trading, is about understanding and all of that, give and take. And if we're able to do this well enough, I don't think we'll have much problem. In the near future, we'll get right some of this problem. Some of this teething problem we had in 1999, we already overcome some of them. Before this time, we used to have elections that spanned for 2 years, litigation in court for 2 years, 3 years. Peter Obi was in court for how long? The same thing with Governor Raif Aregbesola, and even the former governor of Ekiti State.
Peter Fayose.
No, I'm talking about Dr. What's his name? I've forgotten. Kayode Fayemi. Good. So we overcame all of those, and I think we can still overcome all of the other challenges with continuous dialogue and negotiation. The fourth realm of the estate doing its own bit, the civil society group doing their own bit, everybody participating in the process. And one of the things I also want to insist on is people must not abandon voting to say that the election is won, the result. No, please go and vote. You must vote, because the more people vote, the more it becomes difficult to rig.
All right, thank you, Honorable Isiaka Babatunde Gbadamosi, for joining me on the show this evening. It has been a wonderful session with you, an eye-opening one at that. And I do believe that our viewers have enjoyed this particular one. Thank you for joining me in this studio.
Many thanks for having me.
We do all that, and next time you call, you will be here.
At your service.
Thank you so much. All right, as the APC continues to expand its reach and opposition voices grow fainter, Nigeria stands at a crossroad between political dominance and democratic diversity. True democracy is not just about who holds power, but about who can challenge it. A strong system must make room for debate, dissent, and diversity of thought, definitely. A big thank you to my guest this evening, Honorable Isiaka Babatunde Gbadamosi, for joining us and sharing his insights. And to you, our viewers out there, thank you for staying with us on the Poliscope. Continue the conversation online, #the Poliscope, and tell us, do you see APC's growth as strategic genius or political cannibalism? I am Sam Sibalogu, and this has been the Poliscope on Dominion Television, where politics meets perspective. Good night from here.